Hello, in this video we're going to take a look at Affinity Photo 2's non-destructive editing process, the tools you can use non-destructively and how this adds creative choices right through your editing workflow. Non-destructive editing has been one of the advances in photo editing over the years. It means that you can change your mind about the settings and tools you use to edit your photo long after you've applied them and then moved on to the next. The term non-destructive simply refers to the fact that your original photo is not permanently altered at any stage. Instead, it's always there in its original form to return to if you need to. All your non-destructive editing adjustments are simply added on top and just change the appearance of the photo right up until you're ready to export a finished, processed version. Affinity Photo 2 adds even more non-destructive options, including a non-destructive develop option and a new live mask type that adapts to the image it's applied to. We'll take a look at both of these and Affinity Photo's existing non-destructive tools in this video. We'll apply them to this photo of a lighthouse shot at dusk, which looks a little bit flat and doesn't really reflect the nuances and colours of the light in this scene. This is from a raw file, so we're in the develop persona right now. These are the default develop settings, and in the past we might want to spend a little time working on these to make the image look its best before starting our editing work. But this time we'll just accept the default settings and move on. Why? Because in the past this was a one-way process and you couldn't redevelop a raw file. Now though, we can choose this raw layer embedded option from the develop modules drop-down output menu. With this option, the raw image layer remains live and we can return to it later to alter the original raw processing. Now we're in the main edit persona where we can use the full range of Affinity Photo editing tools. Let's start with the lens filter adjustment. This is one of many adjustments you can apply in Affinity Photo, either from the drop-down menu at the bottom of the Layers panel or from the separate Adjustment panel. The point of adjustments is that they are applied as adjustment layers above the image and not directly to the image itself. You can go back later, double-click an adjustment layer and change its settings. Here we're using a warm-up filter effect to change the colours in our photo, but if we decide later that we don't like this filter's effect, we can change its colour or delete the layer completely. Affinity Photo adjustment layers can also have masks, and this lets you control the areas of the image that the adjustment affects. We can show how this works by adding a curves adjustment and dragging down on the curve to darken and intensify the tones in the sky. Of course, this also darkens the lighthouse in the foreground too, and we don't want that. So what we need to do is add a mask layer. So with the layer selected, we just use the Layer New Mask Layer menu command. If we select the mask itself, we can now drag out a gradient mask that masks the lower part of the picture so that only the upper part is affected by the curves adjustment. You'll see from this adjustment that our simple gradient mask is unavoidably included at the top of the lighthouse so that it's darkened by our curves adjustment. There are lots of traditional masking solutions for issues like this, but Affinity Photo 2 has a new one, Live Masks. To show how this works, we'll add another curves adjustment to darken the sky still further, but this time add a live mask layer. The idea of these is that you don't edit them directly, and instead they mask the adjustment based on the properties of the image. So here we're using a luminosity range live mask, and this comes with a kind of curves adjustment panel of its own. If we drag the left hand control point down, we're effectively masking the darker parts of the picture, and if we drag it to the right, we can fix a cutoff point where the adjustment starts to work. We can also drag the right hand control point over to the left to fix the point in the photo's brightness range where the adjustment takes full effect. What we have to do for our picture is to adjust these points to make sure that the lighthouse is affected as little as possible, but the sky is darkened. There's quite a lot more subtlety in live masks than this, and you can also use another new tool in Affinity Photo 2, combination masks, to use different mask types together. That's getting pretty deep into the details though, so let's press on and look at another non-destructive tool, live filters. Live filters are like regular special effects filters, but instead of having to apply them to see the effect and then having the settings baked permanently into your images, they are fully non-destructive. Let's say we want to add the effect of a lamp to our lighthouse. We can do this with the live lighting filter. We'll add a little spotlight to the place where the lamp shines in this lighthouse, making it quite small and colouring it a warm orange. Actually, we'll add 2, just to intensify the effect a little. This is all on a non-destructive live filter layer. It's not applied directly to the image and is entirely self-contained. Later on, if we decide that the lighting effect isn't quite right, we can change it or delete it without affecting anything else. We'll add one more live filter, a vignette filter. We'll use this to darken the edges of the picture to frame our subject and add a little mood. Now it's added though, we're not sure if it improves the picture, but you know what, it doesn't matter. It's a live filter, so we can disable it or delete it as we like before we export a finished, processed version of our photo. Now, right back at the start, you'll remember we used Affinity Photo 2's non-destructive raw develop option. We can double click that original raw photo layer and we're returned to the develop module where our adjustments are still intact and we can edit them if needed. If we decided we needed to change the original white balance setting, for example, we can do that now, and all the adjustments we've applied subsequently still remain in place. We can even see the effect of our raw reprocessing live on our edited image. So we've gone on to make a few more raw adjustments here before heading back to the photo persona. There's one more thing. To make all these re-editable, non-destructive tools possible, Affinity Photo uses its own bespoke file format. When you save an image or use the Save As command, you will be saving the photo in this format. Affinity Photo's Save As command does not give you the option to save the image as a JPEG or a TIFF file, for example. This is like a basic safety net because these formats cannot store your non-destructive adjustments. Instead, what you need to do is save your photo in the Affinity file format and then use the export command or export persona to produce a processed JPEG or TIFF file in addition. You can share your exported images with others, but all your adjustments will be baked in permanently. You will need to keep the original Affinity photo file if you want to be able to go back and change them. So that's it. That's our quick whirlwind tour of Affinity Photo 2's extensive non-destructive editing capabilities. To find out more about Affinity Photo, visit affinity.serif.com. Thanks for watching.